All right, we're adding fractions, and to add or subtract fractions, we write that down. First step is to factor denominators. So to add, subtract, they're technically called rationals. It's a fancy word for fractions. Step number one is factor denominators. So that denominator needs to be factored. So I'll bring it over here. Just like this. And so this right here is going to factor. Remember, it's multiply, 2 parentheses, a times a is a squared, plus 7 and minus 7 makes minus 49 there. Okay, so this is 5a, this is a over a minus 7. So there's step number one. Step number two is to multiply the top and the bottom of both fractions to make the denominators the same. So really, I only need to multiply the top and the bottom of the right fraction. So I said both fractions, but you don't really always have to do both fractions. And this is one of those cases where all I really have to do is multiply the right fraction, top and bottom of the right fraction. Because it's whatever it takes. It's whatever it takes to make the two denominators the same, right? We've got to have common denominator, common ground. You got to make sure the two denominators have the exact same pieces. And so whatever that takes. In this case, I only need to do top and bottom of the right fraction. Whatever you do, you have to do the same thing, top and bottoms, right? Top and bottoms, so you don't change the fraction. Okay, so now they have the same denominator, so I don't need two of them. I can just make one big fraction. They have common denominator. Okay, so now bring down the tops here. Here, I'll just change it over here. Make this 5a plus, and then this is a, there's a plus 7, right? Bring that down. And then step 3 is multiply the tops only and gather like terms. So multiply the tops only and gather like terms. So I'm not multiplying the bottoms, just the tops. Okay. So here we go. So I'm going to distribute this a right here. I'm going to keep the denominator the same, right? Once we've got common denominator, we don't mess with the denominator anymore. But in the top, now I've got 5a plus a squared plus 7a. Right? I just multiplied that a. A times a squared. A times 7, 7a. And then gather like terms up there in the top. So what do we have? A squared and then 5a and 7a, 12a. And that's it. We're done right there. Now you might look at that. Let me give you an option. You might say, you might say, Mr. Terry, can't we factor that top? Yeah, but it won't cancel. So we don't care. In other words, if you take out an a in that top and write a plus 12, that's fine and dandy, but look, nothing cancels. Nothing actually cancels out. So we really don't care about that. In fact, we don't just factor for any old reason. We factor hoping something will cancel. And nothing cancels there. So both answers are okay. Both are right and good. It doesn't really matter. Both are good. So There we go.